I'm Donald Trump and I approve this message. Folks, I'm running for president again. A lot of people have been asking me, Mr. President, what's your campaign platform? And I say, folks, we can't be woke. The Democrats are woke, and we can't be like the Democrats, can we, folks? If you elect me as your president in 2024, we're gonna be sleeping like you've never seen, believe me. We're gonna be doing so much sleeping, you're gonna be tired of sleeping. It's very important to get a good night's sleep. You know why Sleepy Joe's so sleepy? He's so woke that he doesn't sleep. It's very sad. You've gotta get sleep, folks. It's very important. Biden fell asleep at a big climate conference because he's not getting good sleep. I would never do that because I'd never go to a climate conference, folks, believe me. When I'm president again, we're gonna be hibernating for 4 years, maybe longer. We're not gonna be doing any legislation, any executive orders, any foreign diplomacy, because that's just what the woke Democrats want us to do. But we're not gonna be doing that. We're gonna be sleeping soundly and beautifully like you wouldn't believe, and we're gonna be making America great again.
This message is brought to you by your dad. That's right, your dad donated to the Trump campaign. Whoa!
Welcome to Afterthoughts, everybody. Thank you for sitting through, our first real round of sponsors since we had Vin Diesel on the podcast, of course. Those are top-notch brand reads.
We love our sponsors, don't we, folks?
They're great. They're fantastic. We wholeheartedly endorse whatever they're about. Absolutely. We know what came before this podcast, as any podcast does. Joining us at the table is Michael Dixon.
Who left the fridge open?
Nice.
What's up, guys?
I don't even know, man. I'm excited. This movie, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I'm excited. And I hope that our other co-host, Ryan King, has a quip ready-made too. What do you got, Ryan? Come on, let it loose.
I got something to say to you. You guys are my brothers.
I'm trying to cry as hard as I can too, right? I'm trying. And on this episode, we are talking about a movie that satirizes Hollywood, that reveals a lot of behind the scenes stuff for the fun of it. And that movie is Tropic Thunder, which is, what is that? Hold on. Which year is that?
2008.
2008. Yeah, 2008.
Yeah, so Tropic Thunder tells the story of a group of people trying to shoot what is essentially Platoon in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And the actors are all a bunch of prima donnas who the director gets a great idea to go and just put them actually into the thick of it and shoot the film guerrilla style. And immediately the director dies and everybody has to try to figure out through the movie that they're not actually in a movie simulation, that they're in real danger. And it's got just an all-star ensemble cast of comedy gold. You've got Ben Stiller, Jack Black, Robert Downey Jr., Jay Baruchel. Is that who it is?
Baruchel, yeah.
Jay Baruchel.
Steve Coogan.
Steve Coogan, yes, of course.
Tom Cruise, Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. All great. Just fantastic star-studded affair.
Nick Nolte,
even.
Nick Nolte.
Yeah,
Danny McBride.
Yeah, we could just keep naming them. Who else is in this?
Leonardo DiCaprio, obviously.
Tobey Maguire.
Michael. Yeah, McConaughey, right?
Yeah,
And
McConaughey. Yeah, there you go.
Bill Hader and
Kevin
question
Hart
mark Tom Cruise
wasn't in this at all, but
Kevin
was
Hart's
tapped
not in
to be
this.
in it.
The Rock. So many people.
We'll name them all and you sort them out. Okay. That's just the way this will go. This movie, I have not seen this movie in so long. I think the last time I actually saw it was in theaters. I don't think that I saw it on Blu-ray after. There was quite a lull in my life where I would just kind of think, because it became so ubiquitous and there were so many quotes being thrown at me constantly, I had no desire to go back to it. It's probably one of those like bro-y movies to me but at the same time, I know it doesn't just appeal to bros. It's funny in general. So I decided with us watching Fast X and just the absurd, over the top nature of that movie, that whole franchise too. I was like, you know what? I want something that skewers how bombastic Hollywood can be. I want something that has a lot of controversy around it because I've never gone back to explore that controversy now. So I was like, hey, Tropic Thunder is perfect for both of these things. I remember it had a lot of controversy when it came out. It still seems to have like YouTube videos that are recommended to me even now. And probably one of the reasons why I was influenced to pick it too was seeing like an interview with Dion Cole about Robert Downey Jr.'s performance in it. And it just being like, okay, I guess I will watch this. I'm interested to see what comedians think about it. But yeah, I don't know. From when I first saw it, I really enjoyed it. I don't know that I loved it, but upon watching it a second time, I fucking love it now. And upon watching the commentary too, which has Robert Downey Jr. in full character, because in the movie, he himself said that he would not break character until after the commentary track is done.
Oh, right. He did say that.
He fully committed to it.
Yeah, this was a fun scene to shoot.
Was it?
It
I
was
was there and I don't remember it as such.
How do you remember it?
Unadulterated torture.
Really?
No, it was fun.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, here I come, though. Everybody shut up.
And that made the movie great and rewatchable and have another layer of funny to it. I mean, there's I can say a lot about like the cinematography, and it's kind of one of those movies that it is about Hollywood, and I think that they do a really good job representing sort of the production, the producing portion of it. It has like a whole cold open that is like a heightened version of Platoon. And there's just so much that's going on in that has like subtleties of the characters fucking up their lines and messing up certain things. And
Well, there's the cold open of the trailers first.
the
which
cold
is
open of the
pretty fun.
trailers. Yeah. And then there's the cold open of the movie. And then there's a pullback to reveal that it's all just part of the stage production and you're going to follow these characters and explore like the meta of it. And I've always just found I like meta movies and I end up always enjoying them. But I remembered I just didn't know how I felt about this after so long going back to it. I don't know that I can say anything about the score. I don't really want to talk about the cinematography. I like talking more about the jokes and the way that this story plays out, because I think that's like the key meat of it. I know that like the cinematography and the score are sort of the tools to get to those jokes and get to the whole motif that it has underlying it. And I'm not even mentioning Tom Cruise yet and how this is probably his best performance in any movie. It's his best role, in my opinion.
Oh, wow. Have you seen Eyes Wide Shut?
I was going to say, initially I was going to tack on Since Eyes Wide Shut, but honestly, the fact that he insisted he have bigger hands for this role
Yes.
and made his own suggestions for the wardrobe, he really explored the character and got into the skin of Les Grossman. But yeah, I'm curious what y'all think. So I'll kick things over. I started this in a reversed order, so I already fucked things up. Usually we have Ryan go, but Dixon, you want to take it?
Sure, yeah. So I was kind of in a similar situation to you. I had seen this, I don't think I saw it in theaters, but I saw it shortly after it came out. And I remember liking it, but not loving it to the degree that everyone else did. And that's kind of how it came down on this watch as well. I liked it a lot. I think there's a lot of really interesting commentary about Hollywood and how it works and about specific types of actors in Hollywood. You know, the action star who's really stupid and just wants to be taken seriously, the comedy actor who just farts but like actually isn't talented at all, but he makes a ton of money, and the method actor who has no idea who he is as a person to the point where he doesn't even take off the makeup from the old role and just keeps putting on more layers of makeup for the next role. Like all that stuff is pretty funny and well done. I think kind of where I like the movie. I think it's really well done. The core characters are very flat, and I think like that's kind of by design, but for me, I kind of wish there was a little bit more to grab onto there. I'm also not the biggest Ben Stiller fan in a comedic capacity. I actually think he's a much better dramatic actor than he is a comedic actor. Like the Meyerowitz Stories, Brad Status, and a few other things that he's done in recent years. I think he's actually really great when he decides to do more dramatic roles. But I think it's a brilliant concept and it's really well executed. I enjoyed the side characters a lot more than I did the main cast. So, the three top billed guys, Stiller, Blackjack, and Denny Jr., like they're all fine in what they're doing. I don't know that there's a lot there necessarily in any of those characters. I really enjoyed the movie more when Matthew McConaughey is on screen, or Tom Cruise, or Danny McBride, or Steve Coogan, and these other side characters who add some more like life to the movie, I think, than the general main plot. That's like, it's fine, but I found myself kind of like just waiting until they went back to some of the side characters to add a little more kind of spice and humor into the movie. But overall, I think it's really well done, really funny. It's kind of crazy that a major studio made this, and it's just eviscerating everything that they do, which is pretty wild. So yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's really smart. It's funny. It's definitely worth watching. So I'll kick it over to Ryan.
Yeah, I think this is funny because it's like the exact same story for me. That I think I watched this. I know I didn't watch it in theaters. I watched it probably after it came out, but probably 2008 or early 2009. It was right around the time it came out. I remember liking it. I remember some, vague things. I remember being funny, and it does get referenced, so it just, kind of comes back up.
Mm-hmm.
Rewatching it this time almost immediately, especially with the open into the fake ads and trailers at the beginning. I was like, I don't remember this. Now I remember that it was there, but I wouldn't have been able to recall it until now that I'm watching it, and immediately was like, this is hilarious. Like, I just watching it, I'm like, oh man, I remember this is so hilarious. And then I really was just kind of along for the ride really early on, and I think I walked away liking it even more than I previously had, enough to want to kind of add it to my list of rewatches or more broadly a recommend type of movie. It is interesting now because I'm trying to put the perspective of, and I think this is a good discussion, the Robert Downey Jr.'s character and the careful line of what it balances, as well as Ben Stiller's performance as Simple Jack.
Yep.
And what that says. And definitely I would say probably the most controversial bit comes between the two of them having a conversation about that. But it would be interesting to explore that, as well as I've been thinking about satires over the years, and we've had a discussion a couple times, when it works and when it doesn't work. This one, I feel like it does a really good job of, eviscerating Hollywood and the Hollywood process, but has a storyline that you're invested in enough. I don't think you really care, necessarily what happened. If they all blew up at the end, you'd laugh. Honestly,
right? Yeah.
Right? It could go any kind of direction, but it takes you along for the ride, which I kind of highlight. I think completely, even on the further lampooning side of something like Monty Python or Airplane, they still vaguely have a plot. And I feel like the satires that don't are the ones that fall apart, and they're all hard references to modern stuff. This has references, but they're on the nose, so to speak, but they're a little more just part of the element of this as a satire, and not just a haha, we made a reference kind of shit.
The fact that
so I
TiVo's
think I
a
really
big plot
appreciate
point,
that.
I mean,
Okay, maybe. Yeah, that immediately made me laugh because I was like, "Oh fuck, dude, TiVo! Oh my god!"
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
is-
that was
Something
one where
that
I was like,
doesn't
I don't
exist
know.
anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know that. Yeah, that's a very short window that people are gonna have to be like, "What the fuck was all that about? What the fuck?"
I think
is
it's
TiVo?"
honestly great because, in my opinion, TiVo is shit from the get go anyway.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
to have it be the Chekhov's gun of this movie and that its only good use is to block a fucking missile is pretty amazing. Somehow timeless.
Agree. I do remember Tom Cruise's performance from before, and just oh my god, is it amazing? I hate Tom Cruise, but I can't not hate Lex Grossman. He's amazing. I don't know. I don't understand what's going on there. I actually legitimately think in the scene, in the main scene where he dances and it kind of just all unravels, I was just watching Bill Hader in the background this time, because for a man who ad-libs so much,
A nutless monkey could do your job.
yes, I feel like I'm actually like watching in the background Bill Hader processing like, what the fuck is going on? What the fuck do I do? Like, I have to ad-lib along with this. I have no idea what ride we're on. Like, which
While
is
Tom Cruise
which is
dancing
strange
to
for him.
apple bottom jeans.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
See, this is the good part, Pecker. It's when the job gets fun.
Yeah.
Ask, and you shall receive.
All right.
You play ball, we play ball. I know you want the goodies.
Welcome to the goodie room.
You paying attention? Because I'm talking G5, Pecker. That's how you're gonna roll. No more frequent flyer bitch miles from my boy. Oh, yeah. Player. Player. Big dick player.
Swinging past your knees.
Big dick baby.
Yep.
Or you can grow a conscience in the next 5 minutes and see where that takes you.
So I can even appreciate the little parts in this and things like that. I agree. Like, yeah, parts Danny McBride, I was like, oh shit, Danny McBride. I don't even remember him being in this. Yeah, I enjoyed watching him. He's another person that just plays himself every single time, I think.
Yep.
And
But
it's
it usually
fine.
works. You
Like,
know?
I never
Yeah.
get tired of it. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. So through and through, I'm like, man, I hella enjoyed this rewatch. and so much stuff that I just didn't even remember that cracked me up even more this time.
Yeah.
When John, you decided to do this, I decided to buy the 4K that I was like, I don't know how long this is going to be available online because it crosses so many social and cultural lines today that you can't do anymore. And I was just like, I don't know how long this is going to be. Like, the streaming platforms at some point are going to be pressured to pull this off, right? So I went ahead and bought the disc, and they had the theatrical cut in 4K and the director's cut on Blu-ray. So I watched the theatrical cut because it was in 4K and it looked really great. Like, it was shot on film in 2008. So like, it was, one of the later 35 millimeter movies, and it looked incredible in 4K. But I was curious because Stiller oversaw the 4K restoration, but he did it of the theatrical cut and not of his own director's cut. So I thought that was weird. But did you guys which version did you guys watch?
Yeah.
I watched the theatrical cut. I think I probably watched the unrated cut or whatever back in the day because that's kind of what came out. I do feel like that was an of the time. I'm not sure that was something where Ben Stiller was like, oh, here's what we need to have.
Yeah.
It felt like back then, that kind of like mid-ish 2000.
Like, every movie had a director's cut.
Every movie had to have
Uh-huh.
a cut with like more shit in it that came out.
That was like driving DVD sales because it was different than what you saw in the theater.
Which
Yeah.
this thing was like hot. It sold a lot. It was very successful on that home release.
I ended up watching the director's cut because I bought the used Blu-ray at like a half price books. And I
Oh,
was
nice.
Like, all right, I'll just check this out. I did not realize it's the director's cut. It's like it's almost like it's ashamed of it. Like, the director's cut piece is very small at the bottom. Like, I didn't even notice.
I think it's like
away
12 minutes
from-
longer or something.
Yeah,
so-
and it's away from the title. Like, it's really far away from the title. So you have to look for it to be like, oh. And it wasn't until I was watching the commentary track that Ben Stiller was like, yeah, this is the part that we actually had to take out from the movie because they felt like it was redundant. And most of the things he brought up were like accurate to the pacing. Like, it really didn't help with anything. It's a little indulgent. And so when I was watching this time, as much as I enjoyed it, there were parts where I was like, man, I really don't remember this. Like, did they do this part? Because it seems like it's a little bit like longer for this or that. They added more like guts and blood and stuff. And it was like, okay. And Ben
They're
Stiller was
already
like, yeah, we had to cut
quite
all
a
this out.
bit in the theatrical cut.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting to see that piece of it, but it didn't add anything extra, and you're not really missing out on a whole lot. I just don't know. Did they have a similar? Did the theatrical cut have Matthew McConaughey looking at a book full of boobs? Is that
No.
a thing? Okay, well, the
No,
director's cut just
okay,
has
no.
that. There's just like a
Oh,
scene when
man,
he's
I
like,
feel like I missed out.
when he's in like his agent room when you first meet him, he goes and sits down and he's reading a book while he's talking to Tugger Nuts. And the book
Hey,
is
Tugger Nuts.
it's literally just women with boobs, and he closes it, and even the front cover is just a big shot of boobs. And
Incredible.
that's all that he has on his desk.
Ugh.
It's like,
It's like Boob Weekly or something.
yeah,
like-
yeah, basically. But yeah, Ben Stiller said that McConaughey took that role super serious, that he was going to cast, I think he was scheduled to cast Owen Wilson, but that was at the time that Owen Wilson had like a whole mental crisis. And so McConaughey stepped in and was excited and was like, what do you think that my character is like? Like, would he be into this? Or like, how about this? And he was just like making up his own shit about who Rick Pecker was or whatever.
He's so good in
So
it too. Like Wilson would have done that well, but McConaughey is just fucking knocks it out of the park.
Yeah,
Love it.
amazing. That feels like exactly the kind of thing. It looks like, right, it's just like extended scenes or a little bit more blood, but I feel like the boob thing is one of those like filmed specifically for the DVD.
Yeah.
Like, all right, guys, let's get another weird ass scene in here we can put on the DVD. All right, continuing on. Right, like
they said we could do unrated. Let's just do it. Why not? Fuck it.
That's funny.
Yeah, talking about like a big studio getting away with, or like doing this, not getting away with doing this, a big studio greenlighting this movie. They blow so much of their budget in that opening shot, which is the botched explosion scene. It's so fucking cool. And it's a great meta moment too, where you're just like, wow, they really blew up that much just to see a whole sequence of Steve Coogan just being like outraged that they didn't get the shot.
Yes. Like they destroyed a part of a forest to make this movie.
Yeah, Jack Black said that he felt the heat in his trailer from the explosion.
I bet.
He was just filming it with his phone. Oh man. But yeah, there's so much that I love about it from, okay, let's talk about like if you made this movie, which we just kind of just alluded, Dixon, that this kind of movie can't be made. There's a whole controversy about whether or not a movie like this can ever be made again. And I feel like it's a repeating thing with as culture progresses, it just kind of falls out of form to do something like this.
There was a Mr. Show episode, or like a with Bob and David on Netflix when they rebooted Mr. Show, and one of the episodes got pulled, and it was like there was a white character in blackface, but it was making fun of white people who do blackface, and they still pulled it. So it's like I feel like it's just like you can't cross that line at this point, you know? Like
it's become, there was but the question I was gonna ask was, if this movie was made today, what would you see in terms of effects and like production and stuff? Because I don't think that the budget would be allowed for practical the way it is now.
Oh yes, that's what you were. I was talking about like the cultural boundaries.
But it's also
crossing,
that.
But
yeah, it's also that. There's like it's twofold here.
No, you couldn't get this kind of budget for a comedy anymore. No, definitely not.
Comedies don't sell.
Yeah, they just don't do that.
So fuck that. But it's one of those things where like, thinking about the conversation, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Let's talk about, rip the bandage off. We're not sponsored by Band-Aids.
We know that they didn't do the ad at the start.
They did not do that.
We don't know who did, but it wasn't them.
We will find you. We will.
It's okay if you say we rip the Band-Aid brand off.
Yeah, there
like
you
if you put that after
this
it.
podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk about the conversation that Kirk Lazarus, playing Lincoln Osiris, I believe is the character's name, has with Speed Tugman. Tug Speedman.
His first name is Tug.
You called Jack Black Blackjack earlier.
We did not. Yes, that was awesome.
That's funny.
But yeah, Tug Speedman. They have a whole conversation in the jungle about Simple Jack, which is the movie that Tug Speedman had done, where he plays a simple man, Simple Jack, who has some kind of thing that like just Ben Stiller has this whole aspect with Tug Speedman where he just doesn't understand what trying to get an Oscar is. And it opens up this conversation about what Oscar bait can be. And so they have this whole conversation about a mentally challenged man. And Kirk Lazarus is giving tips of
Everybody knows you never go full retard.
And it has this whole conversation with him. And that apparently sparked, of course, a controversy within the like differently abled community, where they were talking about how that's really insensitive. Why would you bring that up? This brings me to another point real quick, just an aside. I thought this movie was co-written by Ethan Cohen. It's Eaton Cohen.
I saw that. I said, what the
fuck? I was fooled for a second, much like Bill Murray was when he went to go be in Garfield. Which he thought was by the Coen brothers. But it was spelled differently. So yeah, there was this whole thing when they did a test screening of it, and there was an uproar about that conversation. They then went and they didn't even recut those sequences, but they did something else to like explain it. And then they just reshowed it to the same group of people, and it kind of got the same reaction. And they were like, well, we're just going to go out with it as it is. And Etan Cohen, or Eaton Cohen, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, is on record saying, like, this is a whole conversation that satirizes what Oscar bait is. It satirizes what somebody thinks they should do to go above and beyond for their acting career.
Check it out. Dustin Hoffman, Rain Man, look retarded, act retarded, not retarded. Count two picks, cheated cards. Autistic, show, not retarded. You got Tom Hanks, Forrest Gump. Slow, yes, retarded maybe, braces on his legs, but he charmed the pants off next to him and he won a ping pong competition. That ain't retarded. He was a goddamn war hero. Right. You know any retarded war heroes? You went full retard, man. Never go full retard. You don't buy that? That's Sean Penn, 2001, I Am Sam. Remember? Went full retard. Went home empty-handed.
And the entire time that I watched this conversation, Ryan, I don't know if you thought about this too, but I just thought about John Travolta. I just thought about John Travolta in Fanatic, like the whole time.
No, I didn't. Now that you mention it.
And now John Travolta's performance in Fred Durst's directed Fanatic is the equivalent of what Tug Speedman did, where he just watched all of these movies with people trying to portray this different cognition and then being like, yeah, I just played a stupid person, like, and just bubbling it down to something that is so reductive and offensive. And I thought that was really biting, and I thought that did what it needed to do. But I'm curious how y'all kind of interpreted it. How did you feel about that?
Yeah,
sequence?
I don't think the movie is trying to be like hateful at all. Like, is it being insensitive? Probably. But like, I don't. That's also like, it's one of the most enduring quotes from the movie. You know, it's like probably the most quoted line,
like the most
from the movie that is just said. All, like, I still hear people say that line, and it's like, it is really funny to see these actors talking about this, and like the movie is really eviscerating actors who are like trying to win awards. And like, I actually, the thing that I was drawing most parallels to was Stallone with Stiller's performance, because like there's all these Rambo 2 references, and the movie feels, it's like, yes, it's parodying Platoon, but I feel like in even more ways it's parodying Rambo 2, because like that movie is like turning, a Vietnam War story into a yay, let's go America thing, which is just like not what Vietnam was and not what any Vietnam War movie has ever been, and it's kind of, parodying that idea. And like, I don't know, I thought it was an interesting conversation and a funny conversation. And, the fact that Kirk Lazarus is the one pointing that out while he's in blackface makes it even funnier, because he's like completely changing himself into every role. And like, a lot of the conversation now is that like, if you have a mentally challenged character, they should be played by a mentally challenged actor.
Yep.
And I think a lot of times when studios make that choice, it actually works really well. But, there's also like, if you have a role for a black guy, don't fucking cast a white guy and paint him black. Like, it's fucking absurd. And so like the whole context for the conversation is ridiculous. And I think it's pretty fucking funny, like the way they break it down and get into it, and how kind of like Tug at the end of the conversation still kind of doesn't really get it, and it's just, I don't know. I think it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that it's that fine line of satire that's so often hard. It's hard to understand, and it's hard to tell when something is satirical and when something is serious. I feel like in this movie, it should be fairly obvious it's satirical, but you could take it just out of context and not really, and if you just saw that, you would think, wow, that's fucked up. And I guess maybe that's some of what the buzz around this movie was just that, without having the full context of it. But I think issues with satire going all the way back, if we like, I always think of like Voltaire, or what was the one about eating children,
a Modest Proposal.
Modest Proposal, that some people take seriously, or even further, there are things where it's like, I'm not sure if Plato's The Republic is a satire or a realistic, right? Because it is hard to tell sometimes, taking something to an extreme. It's clear that the character of Simple Jack is wrong.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that him playing it is wrong within the context of the movie. He doesn't get redeemed for playing that character at the end, and
No.
never really right. The same kind of goes for Lazarus, I think, and definitely it's interesting that it still was quite a while from 2008 to really getting some comeuppance in Hollywood of whitewashing characters, and even
Yeah.
as far as like whitewashing voice acting.
Mhm.
And it's still a major problem. It's still certainly a controversy, but this movie, puts it right on our front street in a good way. And I agree, the dude playing a dude disguised as a dude telling you, about it's so ridiculous to
Yes.
look at it and be like that's serious. I can see the mild interpretation of the approval of a character like Forrest Gump and being like, oh, that's Oscar worthy and that's okay. Or
Right.
Rain
He won a ping
Man.
pong championship.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. That's okay. But again, it's like it's coming out of the mouth of a character who is trying to justify his own bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, so you need that. I feel like you have to have that context. And that's the piece with satire is like you really have to put together a lot of things. It isn't a fart joke that
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
right on the nose, right?
Mm.
And so yeah, I think that it's interesting. I do question. You hear that a lot of like, oh, you couldn't make that movie today.
Yeah.
And I would suspect people in 2008 would be looking back at something like Airplane or
Blazing
Monty
Saddles.
Python or always Blazing Saddles
Yeah.
always comes up and be like, oh, you can't make that movie today. But it's like, well, but you get away with making this movie, right, to some extent. And then
Yeah.
I still think now, I'm like, there's stuff that comes out. There is you wouldn't be able to make it at this budget. No way, because it's not, we just don't make the money in theaters we used to. Streaming is a different monetization than being able to put out an unrated DVD into every Blockbuster, right, and sell like crazy like it did. So there is that piece, but I don't know. Controversy does still sell and probably will still sell, and I kind of doubt it, especially when you have there's a lot of back deals that made this movie work. That's why there's so many like cameos. There's so many people who are invested
Yeah.
into being and making this movie that if you pull together the right people, amazingly you could make movie 43,
Oh God.
Yeah.
fucking whatever. But if you can pull all the right deals, you can get people together and you can make something controversial, and potentially get it out there. So,
Yeah.
and I feel like it's really only that sort of those aspects that's, and you could take those out and still have a decent movie.
I think so too.
I think that's what puts it over the top, but
yeah.
yeah.
I think it's just the reason I was saying I don't think you make today is like studios are so sensitive to online discourse now. And if
True,
people get
right.
mad about something on Twitter, then they'll just pull it because they don't want to deal with it. And like they're worried that people are going to not go watch their other shit because they're mad at them for making something that they thought was controversial or insensitive.
That's why you stand up a shell production studio and you release
Right.
it.
Oh, there you go,
yeah.
Your Buena Vista.
Nobody ever looks for that second degree.
This is made by Universal Pictures.
Yes. So on that weird note, the trailers at the very beginning open with studio opens.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Before we even get to the studio open for this, I don't know what guilds probably normally wouldn't allow that. I was kind of surprised, but it includes a Fox Searchlight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for Satan's
Even though
Alley.
this is
Satan's Alley,
yeah,
yeah.
even though
We're
this
24
is a
of its
DreamWorks.
era.
Which
Right.
looks so fucking fun. Fox Searchlight still exists now.
Yes, it does. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to
Satan's
figure
Alley
out
trailer's
how
hilarious.
Yeah, how did Universal like be okay with doing that?
I bet they didn't have to get
Or
permission
Fox.
because it was probably under parody law, so like they could probably
Yeah.
get away with it. Yeah.
I guess it pushes it. Oh yeah, that movie amazing. It's
I
totally
mean, like
the,
Nathan Fielder did Dumb Starbucks and didn't, got away with it under parody law, right? Like it's. I think
True.
you can be pretty liberal with that kind of stuff.
I know Ben Stiller pulled a lot of strings to get like favors done. Like, McConaughey stepping in. Tobey Maguire stepped in because he was doing a favor to Robert Downey Jr. There was like a bunch of other stuff that in the like trivia that I read about this and that I heard in the commentary tracks where it was like people just really wanted to make this movie happen for Ben Stiller. And apparently he'd had this whole idea for, God, what was it, like 10 plus years? He got the whole
from when he was working on Empire of the Sun.
Yeah, Empire of the Sun, because he had a friend who worked on Platoon, and he thought it was hilarious because his friend was like, yeah, they sent me to this boot camp and it was like so intense. I feel like a real soldier now. And he thought it was just really funny that actors would go to like a mock boot camp and like feel as though they could actually do.
That's even a plot point in the movie.
And he made it a whole point. Like the initial story was just going to be about the actors going to that boot camp and coming back with PTSD. And that was going to be it. But it just expanded as he started to write more. And I think I'm glad that it had the time it had to cook from like, Empire of the Sun to now. It was sort of like this whole moment where Ben Stiller made all the connections he needed to make, and he could just pull this together and Robert Downey Jr. was very standoffish about doing Kirk Lazarus's character. And the only reason he agreed was because the script was so fucking good to him that he was like, yeah, I have to. This is just a great satire. I want to fucking do this. This would be fantastic. Like even Jack Black didn't want to do this movie. He didn't want to dye his hair blonde.
Oh, really?
But like
that was the reason?
Yeah, that was the reason. And but apparently everybody's just compelled by the script, I suppose.
It's also, the movie is so much funnier because Robert Downey Jr. was actually nominated for an Oscar for this performance.
Yes.
Like, fucking wild. Like, it's amazing how stupid Hollywood is that you can, like, eviscerate them completely in a satire that is so on the nose, and they just, like, don't even notice it. And they're like, oh, wow, he disappeared into the role. Oscar nom. Like, fucking wild.
But he did. Like, it's a really amazing performance for what it is. It's quite ridiculous.
He did it all the way through the commentary track, as promised. Oh, man.
He did so many accents. Oh, it's so good.
I read that he did the Australian accent because that was the one that he thought he could easily pull off.
Oh, yeah.
To make him Australian versus whatever it was supposed to, like, it was.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Irish initially, but he did, because the character of Kirk Lazarus was supposed to be an amalgamation of like Colin Farrell and Daniel Day-Lewis and like one other method actor. And so they were going to pull, I guess Ben Stiller was going to pull like an Irish thing.
Does Colin Farrell do that?
I don't know. I mean, he was the Penguin, wasn't he? So
he was.
Like he lost himself in that role. But yeah, like there was just a whole thing of him not wanting to do it, and then he goes and does it and fucking knocks it out of the park, and how absurd it is. Oh man. My god.
We need to talk about, there's a character in this movie named Alpa Space Chino. That's just such a funny name.
And they set it up just so that they can do that one joke where you're like, you're not the real Al Pacino. Dog Day Afternoon and all of that.
Like so good. And he sells chinos and like it's just oh my god. He's like
sells his booty sweats.
Yes, booty sweat and Nutbuster bars.
Bust a nut
bars. Yeah.
Nut bars.
That like the concept of that character is really funny. I don't know that he has much to do, but it's like the fact that they named a guy Al Pacino is just it's so good. Like,
the only thing that character kind of has is that the arc is coming into comfort with his sexuality.
Yes, and that bit is pretty good. Yeah,
on like hyper masculine sort of rap icons, and they had initially tapped Kevin Hart to do that role, and then Kevin Hart said, "No, I didn't know that. Not do it."
That makes sense, actually. Now, what we know about Kevin Hart,
yeah. So that just didn't work out. But I still feel like, and they had like, I don't know. I feel like every actor brought their own flavor really well to the characters that they portrayed. Like Jay Baruchel does like this whole improvised bit, because he kept talking about it on set about HD DVD versus Blu-rays. And they were just like, let's just film you talking about that shit. Fucking why not? And he does such a believable.
Have you been talking to me this whole time?
Being really fucking annoying about it.
I really like Jay Baruchel whenever I see him and stuff. I feel like for some reason he's just never like gotten big. I don't know why. Like he's great in This Is the End. And like whenever I see him, it's like, oh yeah, I love that guy. And he's just like, it seems like he's just kind of never caught on for some reason.
Yeah,
he's done some like he did voice acting. Like he was in that. He's the main guy in the How to Train Your Dragon. So he definitely got a cash cow.
Oh, that's good.
In that, and sometimes I wonder when I see stuff like that where someone just like, man, I'm just gonna keep doing the voice acting for a bit because
yeah,
like it pays out. And the way DreamWorks works, they make something and then they just remake
Keep
it, make a
making
version
it.
for Netflix, remake it again. Yeah, so it is a really easy, just like keep pulling it in.
He's in 8
Um,
episodes of the new Arnold Schwarzenegger series on Netflix called Fubar.
Oh,
I don't think that series
Oh.
is good. If I judged
Find
the
out.
trailer correctly.
They are pushing that, by the way, too.
He was in
Yeah.
Blackberry as well. I got to go see
Oh,
Blackberry.
I haven't seen
to
that.
Support Jay Baruchel. That'll be my air for this year.
oh yeah, there you go. Your business movie.
Yes. Ryan, did you have any particular actor or character or piece that you gravitated towards in this movie?
Yeah, kind of talking about each person. Honestly, the best thing Jack Black does in this is that open for the TV for the movies that he makes.
Oh, the
And
Nutty
how-
Professor clone?
Yes,
what
how
is it
on
called?
the
The,
The
nose.
Fatties?
The Fatties Fart 2. Yeah.
Yes, how on the nose that is. And speaking of a movie,
Yep.
you,
Just
I
making
guess
fun of Eddie
probably
Murphy.
could still make. Yeah, it's so perfect. Like Jack Black is so perfect. And then I would say the other thing is like in general, his character. Like I was sitting there being like, he fits it so well because he is a guy that just in a way sort of has no shame per se.
Yeah.
Like he's willing to just really put himself out there. And that honestly, I'm like, he is a guy that makes jokes about farts and, crap like that or whatever in certain Tenacious D songs or episodes or whatever. Like they released a new song and the trailer for it is literally like him and Kyle in pretty much the same short shorts that he's in, like running down the beach. Like, yeah, it is a perfect fit, I guess, for what that character is or what they moved it into. But yeah, just that, I was like, God, that movie seems so real, like horrifyingly real that could exist. And then yeah, the Tobey Maguire Lazarus movie, which pretty much just is the puppet scene from Being John Malkovich played out in live action.
It really is. They might as well pull up and reveal John Cusack is playing with their beads.
That trailer is so good.
Yeah.
And it's like exactly something that Searchlight would make. Like that's just it's a great joke.
Totally.
Definitely deserving of the coveted Crying Monkey Award.
Yes.
I do feel like there are weird parallels in things that have happened to the actors or parts that they've taken since being in this movie that fit the thing that they're making fun of. Because I was like looking at, I'm like thinking about McConaughey prior to this, and I'm like, he was in this train around then, right? He was starting to get into it, and then I'm like, Wolf of Wall Street, McConaughey is like Lex Grossman. Right?
Kind of.
Or right?
He's more
like, stepped
chill,
up a
but
bit.
yeah.
A little bit more chill, but yeah, that same kind of bullshit guy. Yeah, and I'm like, at the time, I'm like, I think Lex Grossman is pulling a bit of Tobey Maguire, or not fucking shit. What's the, I can't remember the name.
That's
Jerry
Stan.
Maguire. There's a little bit of a Jerry
yes.
Maguire pull out of it, as well as like what McConaughey, like his scenes, he's totally the like Jerry Maguire, show me the money kind of bullshit
Yeah.
as well. And it's weird to then be like, and then he's playing against Tom Cruise. Like there's just weird parallels in there. And then yeah, thinking about like the Academy nominations, the like Nick Kids Choice Awards,
Yeah, like
like,
Best
stuff
Kiss
that I'm like,
award. Yeah.
that I'm like, yeah, so many people did go on to continue to do these things or kind of be these or play oddly similar-ish characters in other things. Just how on the nose, I guess it really is.
Yeah. McConaughey is so good in this too. Like just playing, a vapid agent who thinks his client is his best friend, but clearly knows nothing about him whatsoever. And like loyal to an absurd degree where he turns down, a G5 and an undisclosed amount of cash so that he can just get a TiVo to his buddy Tugger Nuts, and like does not understand that the TiVo is not the point, right? Like he doesn't get that at all in any of the conversations where it's very obvious that the TiVo is not the point, but it's just
Right.
He's just all he cares about. Oh shit, my cash cow may not be happy. Like,
Can we talk about the panda scene?
yes, we can.
Because it's set up at the beginning whenever McConaughey calls, when the pecker calls Tucker nuts.
So I guess who I'm looking at on the back cover of Vanity Fair.
And it's Tug Speedman is just like cuddling pandas, and it's some fucking environmental message. And then later when Tug gets lost in the woods, he's like he's watching an episode of Star Trek with the Gorn and Kirk fighting the Gorn, and he's like propped it up in his little tent that he's made. And then like here's something, he gets into a whole scuffle about it, just kills something, and it turns out to be a cuddly little panda that attacked him. And he's just compelled to call. It's like another plot point. It continues on. Like every conversation he has with Pecker is something that propels the movie forward to its conclusion.
Yeah.
Where he's like, hey, what's going on, Tugger Nuts? You get the TiVo set up? And he's like, no TiVo. And he's like, you on set? He's like, I am the set.
Like, I killed the thing that I love most in this world.
Like, oh my God, you killed a hooker.
Okay, here's what you're going to do. You're going to...
I killed a
Get
panda.
bleach or
Amanda
whatever.
probably wasn't even a real name.
Like,
It's just great. Just punch after punch.
I forget what he said to get like 3 things, and one of them was like a shit ton of lime. I was like, what the fuck? Is that like a disinfectant or what is going on here?
A hooker. All right, you killed a hooker. Calm down. Here's what you're going to do. Get your hands on some bleach, some hydrogen peroxide, and a shitload of lime.
Yeah, just that whole sequence serves as like another boost, because then he spirals out of concern that Tugger Nuts hasn't received the TiVo, and that sends him to Les Grossman. And I was just kind of in awe every time that like any kind of interaction happened with McConaughey on screen. He is the cavalry, and he will eventually be coming to save Tug Speedman. But it's like amazing to me that they made that a plot point for so long. And I remember in the theater just thinking how dumb he was as a character for just wanting the TiVo. And then it being the ultimate thing that saves them, and me being really happy for some reason at the end of it. It was fucking great. Oh man.
That's pretty good. Yeah. I also want to mention Steve Coogan because I love Steve Coogan. Who's also in The Other Guys, and I love the Trip series, but he's, like a British comedian that is in a decent amount of American movies, but he plays the director. And I just think he's great in this role as like a first-time director on a big budget movie who's just scared shitless of Les Grossman, and he can't handle the actors and their egos, and just like the scene where he is like, all right, we're gonna take him out in the shit, and he's giving them a lecture of like, all right, we're gonna be shooting this guerrilla style. You're gonna be going out into the woods and doing the scenes yourselves. Here's the fucking scene book and the map. You got to go figure it out, and we're gonna film it. And it's going to be the best war movie ever. And like turns around and immediately steps on that landmine. And then he's just gone. Like he's set up to be a major character, and then he's just gone from the movie immediately. And that scene is just so funny, in the way that they all react to it. And Tug Speedman is convinced that it's just an effect to like get them psyched up to get in the shit and think things are real.
That whole sequence of Tug Speedman drinking it's like, it's just blood.
I think I know a prop head when I see one. I've done a lot more action movies than you.
Puts his head on the gun, fucks around with the guts and everything.
It's just corn syrup. Blood flavored corn syrup.
That is actually an interesting point. Oh yeah, go Ryan.
I was gonna say the subtleness of that after that explosion, as he's like, his parts are like raining down, and they just all stand there like unable to react, like them processing it for a while. The same way you as the audience are like, what?
Yeah. That's when there's definitely like a switch that flips. I mean, your first time kind of seeing it, if you didn't know that was going to happen, that's when everything changes. And then it gets into a little bit moment where the actors are debating. And that was one of those things where like, the movie's already played its hand, and that they're definitely in danger, but the fact that a lot of things line up, you're like, oh my God, some of this does seem oddly plausible and weird in how coincidental it is. Like discovering the opium den that they mistake for the camp, and the guys that hear them and come out and they start a firefight, which that whole sequence where fucking Tug Speedman is like, this is the scene, everybody. We just got to go and, be gruff. Like, let's get in a real fight. And he's not doing like real military shooting. He's like rolling into frame action style and shooting on one knee and
with one arm on his machine gun. Yeah.
and all of the guns have blanks so they can just shoot wherever and it doesn't fucking hit anybody. Oh man. Yeah, that stuff just emphasizes how ludicrous it is.
Yeah, and then he chucks a grenade at him right as Danny McBride lights the
C4.
the C4 on fire that happens to be right where the grenade lands. So it just furthers the absurd misunderstandings.
Yeah, beautiful comedy, just beautiful coincidental comedy. It's just great.
Yeah, I will say the like really quality making of this that so many of the other like cranked out shit satires don't have is the beauty of how the quote story scene that we get at the beginning gets completely replayed at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like beat for beat. Yeah. That works out well, which I think is something like Shaun of the Dead is a perfect example of like, you get that appreciation throughout that movie of how many things are like set up that makes that so much more than just we're going through laughs. Yeah, there's like that. Definitely, really, really appreciate that.
Yeah, on the topic of it being just talking about satire and talking about the gore, another thing that
oh my god, I love it.
They talk about in the commentary and that they kind of Ben Stiller meditated on was like, to what degree do you take the gore? Because when we talk about satire and we talk about gore, I think about everybody's favorite Paul Verhoeven.
Sure,
is fantastic with his satire and his gore. But he does like excessive, like can make you nauseated at times kind of gore. And this is like way more playful, like the very opening sequence when they reveal that Tug Speedman's hands are blown off in the opening scene. They're like starfished out in a very goofy way, like a Looney Tunes character. And they're having like an emotional scene. And Ben Stiller said that they had to replace a lot of the props they were using because they were too real. Like when Jay Baruchel's character gets like stabbed with a bayonet and the guts are coming out, they had like animal guts and it was like way too real for it. And it just wasn't clicking that it was like goofy or funny. And it's another one of those nuances where like they use gore and they use over the top gore and they use campy gore in this really interesting way to keep you distanced from the reality of it at all times, even when the actors are in the thick of shit and they're like going through this opium den camp and everything. There's not this excessive violence that makes you like feel tonally dissonant from the movie. And it's something that I don't really think about too often. I don't know, like when Paul Verhoeven does it, it's to satirize how over the top American action is. Here, it's done in a very similar fashion, but with a different style applied on top to make it funny and actually like laugh out loud kind of funny.
Verhoeven's satire is a little more biting, I think, because it's like satirizing fascism and like more real world things. But yeah, there's a lot of similarities between the two for sure.
Yeah, I do feel like Verhoeven's tends to like actually shock in the moment, and then the failure of the people there to react the way they should sometimes is what makes it work. I'm definitely thinking of like Starship Troopers, where like something horrifically violent and horrible happens, and the people around it kind of just like move forward because that's their reality.
Yeah.
But what is it about just completely ridiculous blood spraying that like tells you as an audience like this is okay?
Yeah, you're talking like Japanese cinema style blood spray.
Yeah.
Like when that guy gets shot in the head
Python,
and it's just spraying like crazy for
just
like 30 seconds. Like there's no way a human body has that much blood inside.
There's like a whole moment too,
and the scene
in
goes on and on
where like Jack Black accidentally, he was talking about how like it was really hard in that moment to act because it was kind of layered, where he wasn't supposed to be sprayed in the face. Like from the meta movie standpoint, he was supposed to be trying to like plug that hole or something. And then in the actual meta of movie making, Jeff Portnoy, the character, rotates the prop and it sprays him in the face with blood. And he had to react a certain way. And I was like, dude, that fucking breaks my brain that you would have to think like 2 levels deep in like, what is the actor I'm playing supposed to think his character's doing versus when he actually fucks up in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh man. But it's got amazing.
The joke where his arms are blown off I know, like, the lines in this that definitely get referenced over and over again. I do have to feel like my favorite joke is probably the "when we get back, I'm gonna teach you to juggle."
Oh man. Yeah. So that and like what is it? The introduction of Half Squat made me laugh really hard.
Oh yeah.
The adopted son, which is a plot point I didn't realize was a plot point carried through. I remembered Ben Stiller having some child at the end that he was like, he's my own son, and it not being the case. But I didn't remember he was trying to do like an adoption at the beginning of the movie. And there was like a whole moment of that tying back at the end where he's like, wow, I finally have everything I need.
Wait, he's trying to adopt a kid at the beginning of the movie?
He was trying to adopt a kid.
That must have been in the director's cut.
Is that just in the director's cut?
No. That was in the theatrical cut because he's having
was?
the conversation. Yeah, he's having the conversation with Pecker, and Pecker's like, "It's so wonderful that you can choose your child." And he looks.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, he's like, I hate
who
my
then
kid.
again?
And he's like,
Yeah, it gets like bookended because he's
Yeah.
in the plane at the end, and his son is looking out the window.
Yes. Yeah. Because Tug is looking at a kid who's holding a knife at the very beginning, and he's like, all the good ones seem to be taken. And then at the end, because he plays Simple Jack and it brings it all together, and he gets recognition for playing Simple Jack with a small village of opium dwellers who like make him perform. What does he say? He's like, 5 shows a day, like
Sold out.
Standing
Yeah.
room only, sold out. Yeah,
He's, like,
packed house.
So happy about getting recognition for the thing he thought the Academy should recognize him for, and then he gets a child who comes to give him a twig and a Twig Academy Award figure,
Yeah.
and he's like, "I'll call you Half Squat."
I like
Just
too when he's
all
giving the
that.
performance and Robert Downey Jr. is like scouting and he's like, he's like tone down the dumb shit. He's like, he's getting better as an actor. He's
I
like
love- yeah, but he's like-
commenting on his performance instead of scouting out how they're going to attack the place.
He's now thinking about how the actor would feel about, or the character would feel about it, and that's allowing the audience to open up and connect. It's all coming together.
The gag where at the end he goes back. He's like,
Uh-huh.
I gotta go back to the
Yes.
village or whatever. I have my son, and then his fucking claw in his face or whatever.
He's stabbing him in
on
the shoulder.
Yeah.
Stab him in the shoulder, and he throws him, and it goes instantly like into a doll.
Dummy.
It's so
Dummy.
fucking perfect. But that and at the very open, the first explosion death that we get has that fucking not the Wilhelm scream, but whatever the other one. I don't think it's the Wilhelm. It's
No,
the
one of
other,
them has
but
the
whatever
Wilhelm
that like.
scream.
Yeah, right off the bat, it like immediately punctuates it to tell you like this is that Hollywood bullshit. Like this
Yeah.
reference.
Yeah, the part where he runs back to the village is so good because there's so many movies that do that bit at the end where they're like leaving whatever the situation is, like, oh, we finally got out of this, we can go home. And then that one person is like, no, you know what? My place is here. You need to go back without me. So many fucking movies do that. And the fact that they do it in this absurd situation where it would never make any sense. And Lazarus is like, all right, I guess I gotta let you go. And then, like, of course, 30 seconds later, he's sprinting back. He's like, I was wrong. Blow the bridge. Blow the bridge.
Between that, like that had that subversion, and then earlier too, oh god, the scene where Lazarus finds him in the fucking den. Which another quote that lives in my head rent free is the "I'm a lead farmer, motherfucker." Like that for some reason just always hits, and it's so dumb. The whole like him trying to communicate and stall for time. But yeah, when Lazarus finds Tug in the room and he's trying to have a whole conversation with him about who he is, and then both actors end up forgetting who they fucking are, and Kirk's like, I don't know who I am. What can I really be? And they have that
He's
moment.
like, I'm
where-
not Osiris, nor am I Father O'Malley. Pulling wigs and makeup off.
Like it ends with him acknowledging, Lazarus acknowledges who he is, and you think that there's a moment where Tug's gonna remember, but he fucking just doesn't. Like he immediately is like still just in this weird psychosis, and they're like, fuck it, just pick him up, like let's take him,
Just drag him back.
Just great. I was glad that the movie did. I didn't remember if the movie did that or not. I was like, do they actually do this shit? And then when they undercut it, I was like, oh, good. It continues to be funny and witted and not like pandering to the things that it's criticizing. So, well, yeah. Was there anything else that y'all had? I feel like we've kind of talked it through.
I guess the other thing that's worth mentioning is Nick Nolte's character, who is like
Yes.
Yeah.
the guy
Four-leaf?
who wrote the book Tropic Thunder that they're making the movie about, who was allegedly part of this, secret mission to save. Like, also, it's also kind of a parody of Saving Private Ryan too, right? Because it's like a mission to go save one guy. It's like, this is so fucking stupid. Like, why would anyone ever do this? But this guy allegedly, or did write this book and allegedly was involved in all these things. And he said his hands were blown off in some horrific event in this whole ordeal. And then turns out fairly early on into the movie. Well, first of all, he has 2 hooks, which is hilarious.
Yes.
Like, that's like some Buster Bluth shit. They just ripped that from Arrested Development. Like, that's pretty funny.
This
Like,
is why you
and he's-
always leave a note.
Yeah, exactly. But he's very good with those hooks. Like, he's, smoking and eating fruit and stuff, and just like whatever he needs to do with the hooks, he's doing it. So he's practiced a lot with those things. But then, like, pretty early on to the movie, his hooks fall off. He just has hands underneath. And it's like, he admits, like, oh, yeah, I never been out of the States. I just, but I'm a patriot. I wrote this book because I love America. And like, Danny McBride is so upset about it. And like, that kind of shit, like, I feel like a lot of these war movies just glamorize this military valor to the point of absurdity. And like, I like the fact that it kind of pulled the rug out from under that with his character. It's like, no, this guy's a piece of shit. Like, he's just trying to profiteer off of the backs of Americans who died in this situation. And I liked the way they did that. And then they kept having a recurring joke where people would run into him and like in horrible situations, like bullets are flying around, all kind of crazy shit is happening, and all they can do is like, oh my God, you have hands.
Yeah, everybody acknowledging it.
Like, that is so jarring to everyone who runs into him. And he's like, yeah, I got hands. Come on. Like,
I want to try to think about what pyrotechnic trick Danny McBride was doing that almost blinded Jamie Lee Curtis.
yeah,
on Freaky Friday.
I haven't seen that movie since I was a kid, but I don't remember any pyrotechnics
Yeah, I
involved.
don't think so.
Yeah, I will say on the note of was it Lieutenant Four-leaf?
Four-leaf,
Nick Nolte's
yes.
character. They actually, so the military advisor for this film, Dale Dye, DYE, he doesn't have the coolest name yet. He was actually also the military advisor on Platoon.
Really?
Yes. And Stiller had sought out his wisdom and asked him if he'd consult, but Ben Stiller was also very concerned that he might not like making fun of the military and potentially this whole story of somebody who can just like lie their way into fame on military coattails and that kind of stuff. And he was like, yeah, no, we have like a good sense of humor. Like, as long as you just don't do shit that like, you don't have anybody who's in the military that is doing shit nobody in the military would ever do. I'm cool to consult on your film. And I was like, that's a really fucking cool trivia fact. He had like such a good sense of humor about it. He was like, fuck yeah, make fun of whatever you want to. I don't give a shit. I love comedy. It's great. But it was just like, that's neat. So having that whole Four-leaf aspect was also, there's another scene too where they were gonna homage Jaws. They were gonna do the Quint scene, and that's in
Oh, no way.
when we're introduced to Les Grossman, and he's like, which one of you fucknuts does whatever? And Four-leaf is like, you send him out into the forest and this is how you do the things. And it was gonna have him like do the whole sort of camera
Like
dolly
claw the
and-
window.
Yeah, there was that. And then Ben Stiller was like, that's a bit too much. Let's not do that. We have too many homages already in this movie. We don't need the Jaws thing.
I mean, you can still see it in that scene.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
You
The
see it set up
influence is
for it.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's where like the references here are subtle enough to become timeless other than TiVo. Because right, we have like the apocalypse now, right, of like showing up and finding out Kurtzman's completely changed, but in this case it's Tug Nuts is now
Yeah.
completely in it, is, you know. But it's fine. Like, that's just fine. It's fine on its own if you haven't seen that, right? It adds depth to know the reference, but it's not trying so hard to be like, wink, 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 look at what this is. I don't know. I can't not point to the like epic movie or the later scary movies or whatever as like the fault where they want you to know exactly what they're referencing, that they spend so much time on trying so hard to pull that reference without earning it even.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if they
being there.
tried so hard, Ryan, but they.
Well, like staging it exactly the way it was, you know.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
trying to
they
make
have,
sure
like-
like you get it.
Yeah, they have like a
Right,
dude
right.
in Spartan gear who yells this is Sparta, and you're like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not earned. It has nothing to do with what's going on. Right.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
It is the distillation of a Family Guy episode now. So,
Pretty
or
much,
anytime.
yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, was
Hey,
there anything
so-
else?
So Tom Cruise.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Tom Cruise. I mean, we
Let's
talked about him
Tom
earlier.
Cruise.
I made my assertion this is his best role.
Eh.
Aside from, Eyes Wide Shut. That's a Kubrick film. Doesn't count. We can't.
Oh, okay.
That has to be good.
Yeah.
So Tom Cruise is a person that gets into his roles, like obviously with the Mission Impossible.
Yeah. I like
and-
Tom Cruise. He is what he is. Like you have to understand what he is, but yeah.
Yeah. With Mission
Scientologist.
Impossible
Well,
and
there's
Scientologist.
that. He's just a quality American who supports child labor. You know?
Yes.
Doesn't believe in medicine or gravity or what. Yeah.
We're going to have to bleep all of this out. I do not want the squirrel
don't
hunters
want-
coming after me.
Do you think, is it more likely that Scientologists or are listening to this? Like, is that
That could be
possible?
yes. I mean, they have an angle for
they're
everybody.
everywhere.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
everywhere at
Yeah,
all
that's
times.
true. They just have people that listen to every podcast just in case. They are litigious.
Yes, they are.
But like I don't know that I've ever seen him get necessarily character acty, so to speak. I feel like he gets
Yeah.
into his roles, but at the end of the day, it kind of has always bothered me that he's just this Tom Cruise, and you kind of can't see anything else other than that. Like he's more tug nuts in my mind as like what our archetype is here than Lazarus, but weirdly in
Sure.
this movie he's Lazarus, right? Like
Yeah.
he is so much into creating this Grossman character that he just becomes it, and it's unbelievable.
It does feel like a release for him, like, oh, I don't have to
Yeah.
be the guy that's carrying this movie, and I don't have to be the big action star that's doing all this stuff. I can just be like a weirdo in makeup making jokes. Like that sounds great. It feels like something that it was like a relief for him to be able to do.
Yeah.
Why else has he never done that? That's the other thing too, is like he could go
Yeah.
anywhere and be like, hey, I want to be in your movie. I want to be this side character and do this completely stupid thing. And
You could just have an alter ego.
to just do it. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Like,
have a different SAG credit
Yeah.
for those roles. That'd be pretty funny. Crom 2s.
so, I mean, like Johnny Depp
Yeah.
does
Sure.
that. Right. And I think Johnny Depp has found now that it's like, oh, I can just keep doing that and be profitable and no one fucking cares. I'll disappear into whatever stupid thing I think is funny. And he's just gone down that angle forever now. But it's interesting. I'm like, because I know Tom Cruise wants to be the big star too. Like, I don't see him putting it all
Yeah.
aside, but it's like you can do one of these every once in a while. And
I think
can't
Cruise
think of
is
anything
good
else.
in the right role with a good director who can actually make him do what he wants. Like he's great in Eyes Wide Shut. He's really good in Magnolia, as a P.T.
Yeah.
Anderson movie. He's good in Color of Money, the Scorsese movie. It's like, when he gets a good script and a director who can like have enough clout to actually get him to do what he wants and depart from the, just Tom Cruise role. Like pretty much every movie that he does now, he's producing and he is basically the boss. He's not like really like the director is somebody who he has handpicked to make that movie. Tom Cruise is in charge. And
Yeah.
so like he doesn't really make those movies anymore where he has the opportunity to like have a really good director be like, no, I need you to do this and I need you to be this character who is different than just the typical Tom Cruise role that you always play.
You know what's interesting too, when we're talking about this, I think about the the opening scene of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where they talk about Rick being the heavy and how the heavy is associated as the end of your career, and where you're going in Hollywood.
Al Pacino's in
Yeah,
that scene.
Al Pacino is in that scene, not this Al Pacino.
The one the
Yeah.
one you've heard of. Yeah.
Maybe Tom Cruise is I don't know what
You
movie
think he's
has he
trying to
been?
escape that?
Yeah, what movie has he been like a real heavy in? Has he been like a villain? I know there are some.
Oh yeah. He's really good in Collateral.
Yeah,
Have you
in
guys seen that?
Collateral.
Yeah.
I've heard he was great in that.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
but it's just one of those things
He's
where like
terrifying in that movie.
he doesn't play
Well,
that character too often.
No.
That was one of those having to undo The Last Samurai. Like that
Oh,
was definitely
yeah.
like the next year. It's like shit. I gotta.
Yeah,
That was also Michael
I gotta
Mann, so,
unwhitewash
like,
myself.
There's a director who like has some clout who can, kind of convince him to buy into that. But like he's like vicious and terrifying in that role.
Yeah, and I feel like it's one of those things where Tom Cruise wants to do, I want to be a hero. I want to be at the top of things. He is driven by stunts, apparently now. He wants to just do
Yeah.
all
He's
these
just like
insane stunts.
wants to be the greatest stuntman to ever live.
And it's pretty fucking rad. Like a lot of
Yeah,
shit he does.
he's
is
very good at
so
it.
dope. It's one of those things where like, hey man, maybe the Scientology is paying off, whatever the fuck they're feeding you. I don't know.
I mean, somehow he still looks 35 and he's fucking 60 years old now.
yeah,
so.
whoever they're sacrificing to him, it's working.
Yeah.
But-
He's probably got several blood
he-
boys, that whole
the
thing.
the
Yeah.
Elizabeth Bathory method. Yeah. And
He did do Rock of Ages.
did Rock of Ages? Yeah, Rock of
Yeah.
Ages.
I
is
didn't
a
see that, but
theme?
that definitely feels like a risk for him. That's doing something weird and stepping out on a
So I
limb.
guess he's had a couple.
I
But it's
feel
crazy
like-
how many hits he's had.
Yeah.
Like there's very little that you can be like, oh, that one wasn't, or even if it's like bad, like Vanilla Sky or something, it made money.
Yeah.
It made like people went and saw it and it made a decent money and nobody remembers it anymore. I think like the only straight out bomb I can think of that he's in is Legend.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I haven't seen that.
But that was a long time
Yeah, that was
ago.
what, in the 80s? Like,
Yeah,
that was
one of
when he was
that was
just kind
really
of coming
early.
into his own. Yeah.
Yeah, that movie's
Uh,
awesome.
I'm just going to throw it out there right now. I think that I'd honestly be delighted if Tom Cruise followed Nick Cage's career path and started just showing up in any movie
Would love
and
that.
Yeah.
swinging
All
for
in.
the fences. I think that Tom Cruise and Nick Cage both swing for the fences really well. I think that they take whatever their performance is and they can push it to
They
a
do.
maximal limit.
Yeah.
It'd
But
be
it-
fucking awesome.
Nick Cage feels like he was pushed to be a lead in spite of what he should be, where Tom
Yes.
Cruise definitely is a lead who could be doing something different now. I
Yes.
am kind of
Uh-huh.
like, I have never liked him, and the more push on Scientology, the less I liked him. But now he's in that like Jimmy Stewart kissing a 30-year-old
Yeah, the Kim Novak
kind of
phase.
point to. Yeah, where I'm like, you're too old to be what you're trying to be anymore. Can we just go do something else, please? Go be something else now.
I will reiterate, I know you're not going to watch it, but Top Gun Maverick is very good.
I'm sure. Yeah, whatever.
I thought Ryan had some kind of John Hamm beef with Tom Cruise. Like he went to
I
your
have a
fraternity
personal
and you
beef.
ripped a dude's nutsack open with a hammer or some shit. I was like, Jesus, what do these actors keep
Yeah.
doing to Ryan's fraternity?
Yeah.
I do have personal beef with Scientology, which I can get into separately.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to bleep the whole episode.
That's another. Yeah, we'll have to bleep that out later.
I don't have enough money or lawyers to do this. Oh man. Yeah. Well, I'm just glad Tom Cruise got to be Les Grossman and get it out. I wish he had been able to reprise the role after The Mummy flopped, because I feel like he would have put all of his rage and energy into whatever a sequel with Les Grossman would have, or some kind of similar character would have, because that movie was fucking awful. And,
I did not see it, but
a full
it
disservice
looked bad.
to,
Yeah.
to Tom Cruise. It's pretty bad when my dad goes and sees an action movie with Tom Cruise and comes out laughing at how fucking awful it was.
Oh, wow.
My dad's pretty easy to please. He watches all 25 days of Hallmark Christmas. Okay. Like,
Cruise usually has so much control over his movies nowadays too that like that just doesn't happen, right? There's going to be a level of quality there
Yeah,
that you know, like it's
right.
not going to be laughably bad. But yeah, I heard horrible things about that movie.
I'm so sad we never got to see the Russell Crowe movie that would have come from that. There was going to be a whole monsters.
Which
universe.
one was that going to be?
I don't
yeah,
know.
what?
They made him.
Black
He turned into
Black
something at
Lagoon
the end
or
of
whatever?
that movie, and he was going to be like the Black Lagoon creature. I don't know if that's actually
What?
true.
Russell
No,
Crowe's in The Mummy? I know nothing about The Mummy other than that
He's in
one
the Mummy,
trailer
and he
that they
becomes
fucked
something
up.
at the end, and they're trying to like do like the Marvel Cinematic Universe thing. They're like, no,
Uh-huh.
Russell Crowe's
Yeah,
going to be the Invisible Man, like or whatever. and then they just
I
were
can't.
like, it failed.
I can't picture Russell Crowe as like any of the Universal classic monsters.
He's gonna be the Frankenstein's monster.
Maybe he could do, I don't know, but like I can't. He's not Dracula. He's not the Invisible Man. Like I can't picture him doing any of those.
Yeah.
Creature from the Black Lagoon doesn't have lines. He's just a creepy guy that swims and flirts with ladies.
Hold on, I need to look it up.
Oh,
real
he's
quick, 'cause I just
Dr.
need to-
Henry Jekyll.
Oh, he was Jekyll and Hyde.
I can
He was-
see
yeah,
that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. They made him Mr. Hyde by the end of the movie.
He's just that normally.
Speaking of people taking completely bonkers roles, I loved Russell Crowe as Zeus in the otherwise passable
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Thor: Love and Thunder.
You're gonna bring it up. If Dixon, if there's any Marvel movie you're gonna watch,
Just go-
It's not that
nah,
one, but watch
it's not
5
that one.
minutes of Russell Crowe in that movie, and you'll
Yeah,
get a
just-
good laugh.
Just get that scene, and you can ignore the other Taika Waititi stuff around that scene. Just the Russell Crowe parts. You probably won't like the edge of it either. But
He's
just
doing
that,
what he
just
thinks
that.
a Greek accent is.
Oh, that sounds funny.
It's great.
I would say I would just rather watch Hercules in New York and see the Zeus
Yeah.
holding like a piece of rebar with a curve on the end and throwing it down to earth.
You watch dub or no dub?
What do you wait? There's that
Oh,
Hercules
man.
in New York is dubbed.
Yeah, there's a dub
Oh
version.
yeah, you haven't seen
What?
the dub version?
God, I would have
the
to
dub
place the
version.
dub in, and then
It's-
the other version.
Yeah, it's hard to say which is the
When
better one,
they
and if they're
dub over
both amazing.
Schwarzenegger's voice.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no.
yes.
You want that Schwarzenegger voice
Yes,
coming
you
through.
do,
I know
you
what you're
do.
talking- the whole thing is not dubbed, just Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
There we go.
I do recall that
God, that movie.
now.
Oh man, we've gone off the rails here, everyone.
we have. That tends to happen.
That is the power of Tropic Thunder. It is a comedy that can help you dig deep into other veins of Hollywood. Well, then, would we recommend this? Let's start with Dixon. Would you recommend Tropic Thunder to somebody?
Yes, I would definitely recommend it. Like I said, I didn't love it, but I liked it. I think it's a really fun ride, and there's a lot of memorable, quotable lines in it, and it's definitely a good time. So, also just the fact that it eviscerates Hollywood so poignantly, and then Hollywood gave Robert Downey Jr. an Oscar nomination. It's just so
Always a great time.
fucking funny to
Tickles
me.
me.
So yeah.
Oh man, Ryan, would you recommend Tropic Thunder?
To qualify as a cult classic, do you have to not be successful in the first place?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is not a cult classic, right?
So this is not, yeah, right. I feel like this is one I
made
hear
like
all the
$200
time.
million.
People are like, yeah, it was huge. Yeah, it's like maybe I don't even think it's like vaguely forgotten. It's weird that I see it listed all the time, and I'm not. I actually saw a list of cult classics the other day that had Branded to Kill and a couple other things on there where I was like, okay, now we're
Nice.
talking. Now we know what the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah.
This is not Baby's first cult classic.
Yeah.
Also, I know we said we had no last thoughts, and I'm spewing out thoughts.
How dare you?
In the meta, like diegetic version of the Academy Awards at the end, the movie is the movie of the making of the movie, right?
Yes.
That's what he wins the award for. Is that the movie that we watched? I guess
Technically, yes. Tropic Blunder is what we watched.
We watched the actual making of the movie. No, I absolutely do recommend this. I more so will probably recommend it than I had the first time around. I think it's just it's fun.
Yeah. I also would recommend this. I would also recommend the audio commentary with Robert Downey Jr. on the director's cut. It is delightful and hilarious, and it continues the journey of Kirk Lazarus as Lincoln Osiris.
Yeah.
I
I think we mentioned before that that's kind of a thing that is a medium that's kind of gone. Like, not that they don't do commentaries anymore, which they totally don't, but like now everything pushing to streaming, it's not like you can stream.
They do, but
DVD
only for
commentary.
like boutique releases,
Yeah.
like Criterion or Kino Lorber
Right.
or that kind of stuff.
But that's a physical, right? Like you can
Right.
only,
Yeah.
if you get a physical,
Yeah, it's
you
hard
can
to get
that,
online.
but it's not online, right?
it's kind of crazy to me considering you have multiple audio tracks too, that you could easily
Mhm.
throw that on
Yeah.
there and have a director's commentary. But
Yeah, if it's like on
They choose
Netflix,
not
they
to.
have it in fucking 25 languages.
yeah, why not one more? Like,
Yeah,
what's the
just-
problem? And it's not even one more language you have to really adapt. You just like, unless I guess
Just put it on the
subtitles
track,
and
yeah.
accessibility is a problem. The rest of it is literally just throw an audio track on and be done with it.
Well, you haven't even had
yeah.
the subtitles generate themselves.
Yeah,
don't
you
even
can do
have to,
auto
like-
captions now. I mean, it's half-assed and lazy, and
But
it
it's
doesn't always
who's-
get it right,
you know-
but it's good enough.
Something tells me some of those languages on Netflix's subtitles aren't good.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Definitely. There's something there. I think you're onto something, Ryan. Well, yeah, we all recommend it. There you go. Tropic Thunder is a comedy that you should check out. It's not a cult comedy. It didn't fail when it came out. Do you have to also, now I'm like all thinking about the rules of what it means to be a cult comedy or a cult film. Do you have to fall into obscurity and then come back to be cult, or how does that fucking work?
In a way, I'm like, I could say a technical definition, Star Wars would be a cult movie.
The original Star Wars.
Right. In that it has a,
Like a rabid,
it is more
religious
beyond it, and it
following.
has this, it has this like rabidness around it.
Oh,
But I feel like when you say cult movie, you mean something that like only exists
It's underground.
because
most
of
cults
its
as
underground
being
cult.
Similar to
Yeah.
the Branch Davidians, small in population and mowed down by the ATF.
Yeah, Star Wars is.
Sorry.
Yep. Okay. I would say Star Wars is a religious movie, not a cult movie, because there's too many people that are into it. So therefore, it moves up from a cult to a religion.
It can write off tax. It has tax write-offs.
And then
Exactly.
to be semantic about it, the original Star Wars is a cult movie because it's been buried by fucking
like
new
the original cut.
original cut with all
Yeah.
the shitty special effects and everything.
Mhm. I have it on VHS.
Oh God, you lucky bastard!
Yeah, I have the original trilogy on VHS.
Which is still not the theatrical cut. Still
yeah.
blows my mind. Still not the
Still-
theatrical cut even.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
How
It's
many
Now the
times-
Hollywood
close,
special.
though.
It's closer.
Yeah, the Hollywood special. Now we're talking. Chewbacca's
with the holiday
granddad
special, you
jacking
mean?
off. Yeah, yes, that's
The
that's
Hollywood-
cult.
The Hollywood special is a different thing, Ryan.
The holiday, yeah, the holidays.
If you don't
It
know
is
what
a Hollywood
you can't afford
special.
it.
Isn't Cher in it and shit? Come on, it's the same.
Oh man. Well, there you have it, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this episode to talk about Tropic Thunder, to go a little bit off the rails, talking about other things related to it. I've been your host, John Garcia. With me, as always,
Ryan King, the dude in the podcast talking about the movie. Yeah, I know who I am.
of course, and
Michael Dixon. Remember way back when I called your mother a cankerous whore? I didn't mean that. That was way too far over the line.
didn't remember. I forgive you. Hey there, movie buffs, TV toughs, and all listeners in between. John here from the Afterthoughts podcast. I just wanted to drop in at the end of this episode and say thanks for listening. If you've got afterthoughts of your own to share, hit us up. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at The Afterpod, or jump into a conversation on our Discord server. You can find info for this and more at theafterpod.transistor.fm. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.